Hi, and welcome to today's video in the Study Unifees Daily Vid series. Today we'll be talking about the best way to solve reorder paragraph questions in PTE Reading. Reorder paragraph questions are probably like the jumbled paragraphs you did probably in middle school or even in high school. You will be given several sentences in a paragraph that are jumbled. You have to put them in order. Now first, to understand this question, let's look at a sample reorder paragraph question. This has 5 sentences which are jumbled up, which of course we have to put in the right order. Let's first start by reading all these sentences. Our aim while we're reading these sentences is to identify a topic sentence, the first sentence in the paragraph. Now remember, the first sentence will basically tell us what the scope of the whole paragraph is, what the paragraph is going to discuss. Let's look at the first sentence. Let's read it together. However, overcrowding at popular destinations can lead to environmental degradation. Because of the use of this conjunction, however, this will follow an idea that is contrary to it, and thus this cannot be a topic sentence. Now let's read the second sentence together. Tourism is a booming industry that has both positive and negative effects. Well, this seems to be a very good candidate for the topic sentence. Why? Because it introduces an industry and tells us that this is both positive and negative in its effects. So we will keep the second sentence on hold. Now let's look at the third sentence. This should help us to realize that it's crucial to promote sustainable tourism practices to minimize these negative impacts. This sentence cannot be a good topic sentence because it contains a pronoun. This pronoun refers back to a previous idea. The topic sentence does not have any previous idea. Now let's look at the fourth sentence. Because of this industry, people are able to travel to experience new cultures and enjoy beautiful landscapes. This too has a pronoun that refers back to a previous idea. Because of this sentence cannot be a topic sentence either. Now let's read the final sentence. In addition, these people bring money to local economies. The conjunction in addition is used to add a similar idea to one that is before it. And therefore, this too cannot be a topic sentence. So, 2 is the best topic sentence for this particular paragraph. Now, let's look at a follow-up sentence to the topic sentence. Remember, the topic sentence says tourism is a booming industry that has both positive and negative effects. The first sentence, starting with however, does not work because there is a reference to overcrowding. The third sentence, this should help us to realize, also does not work as a follow-up sentence because it entails that the previous sentence should help us to understand something we have to realize. The fourth sentence, because of this industry is the follow-up to the word industry in the first sentence. This looks like a very good candidate for the second sentence. In addition, which starts the fifth sentence, is also not a good follow-up. And also because of the phrase these people, which means that the previous sentence should talk about some people. So, let's put the fourth sentence in the next slot. Now, we will look for a follow-up to this sentence. Let's read the second sentence. Because of this industry, people are able to travel to experience new cultures and enjoy beautiful landscapes. The word people in the second sentence has a very nice follow-up in the fifth sentence on the right column. These people is a follow-up two people are able to travel to experience new cultures and enjoy beautiful landscapes. So, we will put the last sentence in the third slot. Now, we've got three sentences that seem very much in order. Let's look at the remaining two sentences. The first one is, however, overcrowding at popular destinations can lead to environmental degradation. Another sentence that remains to be put in its proper place. This should help us to realize that it's crucial to promote sustainable tourism. The fourth sentence should be the sentence beginning with however, because the fifth sentence refers back to the fourth sentence by telling us something we should realize about environmental degradation and its negative effects. So let's put this sentence starting with however in the fourth slot. And of course, automatically, the last sentence, the one that remains, should occupy the fifth slot. Now, let's look at all the precedents, that is references to previous thoughts, and all the follow-ups, that is sentences that follow up on a thought, to understand how this works. The first precedent is industry. It leads to a follow-up in this phrase, this industry. This sentence mentions a positive impact of tourism. In addition, follows up on another positive impact of tourism. Now, the paragraph takes a bit of a shift. It starts discussing the negatives. Because the shift is taken, it starts with however and introduces a negative effect. Finally, this pronoun in the last sentence follows up on the first sentence perfectly because it tells us what we should realize happens because of overcrowding, which can lead to environmental degradation. All the sentences in the reordered paragraph must fit in perfectly like this for you to score all 5 points or all 4 points in this question. The most important thing you will have to do is choosing the right topic sentence. The correct topic sentence in reorder paragraphs and PTE reading will always adhere to these characteristics. Firstly, it will not have a linker like this or a pronoun like he, she that refers back to previous thoughts. There will be no reference to something that was mentioned earlier. Most importantly, it will set up the scope of the entire paragraph. In other words, it will tell you what the paragraph as a whole is going to discuss. So to summarize what you're looking for in a topic sentence, it must be an independent sentence with no link to any previous thoughts. It must be a complete sentence which does not need any kind of reference points. It must not refer back to anything that could have been stated previously. Now, let's talk about follow-up sentences. Follow-up sentences will always give you triggers as to what thought comes before them. Look at the first trigger. The first trigger is all about explanations and examples. Whenever for example or for instance are used, then that means the previous sentence must have an example which is basically explained in the current sentence. Concessional conjunctions like but, yet, though, on the other hand, must always follow a thought that is contrary. Furthermore, in addition, moreover, also, always follow up on a thought that is parallel. Cause and effect always follows up on either a cause or an effect and can only be used when there is a perfect causal or cause and effect relationship between two thoughts. Finally, the last sentence of that particular paragraph will either be a summary of the whole paragraph or a conclusion. Conclusions are signaled by words like thus, therefore, or words like in summary. Now, let's look at another question in reorder paragraphs. Here is the jumble paragraph that you will see on your test screen. First, let's go through all these sentences and see exactly what the triggers are and, most importantly, if we can find a topic sentence. Now, the first sentence starts with "because of this." This tells us that this sentence cannot possibly be a topic sentence. The second sentence too starts with "this." This too means this refers back to a previous idea and thus cannot be a topic sentence. The third sentence starts with "however," which needs a contrary idea before it. So this too cannot be shortlisted as a topic sentence. The fourth sentence is a standalone sentence. It is independent. It does not contain any reference to a previous thought, and thus we can shortlist this as a topic sentence. The fifth sentence is also not a standalone sentence. Because it talks about many countries, this is probably not an opening idea. So, we will shortlist sentence number 4 as a topic sentence. Now, let's read our topic sentence. Education is a fundamental right for all individuals. The operative word is fundamental right. And this operative word, fundamental right, is followed up perfectly in the fifth sentence. The fifth sentence reads, "Many countries offer primary and secondary education to provide people with this fundamental right." And so, we will shift the fifth sentence to slot number 2. Now, let's read our first two sentences. Education is a fundamental right for all individuals. Many countries offer free primary and secondary education to provide people with this fundamental right. Now, the second sentence says, free primary and secondary education is provided by many countries. Therefore, we should look for a sentence that follows this up efficiently. The second sentence, this helps promote literacy and empower people to make informed decisions, refers back perfectly to free primary and secondary education. Why? Because free primary and secondary education basically promotes literacy and empowers people. So we will shift the second sentence to the third slot. Now, let's look at the remaining sentences closely. The sentence on top says, because of this, efforts are being made to ensure education reaches every corner of the world. Now, there is no cause and effect between this sentence and the third sentence in our ordered paragraph. So, let's see if the third sentence in the unordered paragraph will fit in the fourth place in the ordered paragraph. However, access to quality education remains unequal in some regions. This fits perfectly because we are talking about the positives, and now the paragraph takes a shift to discussing the negatives. So we will now place this in the fourth position. And this is perfectly followed up by the causal clause. The cause and effect relationship is really clear here. Quality education remains unequal. And because of quality education remaining unequal, efforts are being made to ensure that education reaches every corner of the world. Now, let's look at one more question to understand completely this strategy we have learnt to solve reorder paragraph questions. The first sentence, in summary, history's lessons empower us to navigate the complexities of the present and forge a purposeful future. This actually looks like a very good candidate for the last sentence of the paragraph, mainly because of this phrase, in summary. As a rule, a coherent paragraph summarizes itself only at the end. Now let's look at the second sentence. Historical knowledge gained from these studies helps us to understand how societies have evolved over time. There is a clear pronoun referent here. The previous sentence will talk about some sort of studies. Now let's read the third sentence. History provides valuable insights into our past, shaping our present and future. Well, I would say this looks like an excellent candidate for the opening sentence, the topic sentence. Why? Because it is a stand-alone sentence. It does not have any previous reference. It can stand by itself and be followed up by the various thoughts in the other sentence. The fourth sentence. This knowledge also helps us to understand the evolution of modern society. This too has a pronoun. The previous sentence will tell us something about some kind of knowledge that will help us to understand the evolution of our society. The fifth sentence. It encompasses the study of events, societies, and individuals. Also has a pronoun. The pronoun it will have a noun referent describing something that encompasses the study of events, societies, and individuals. So the third sentence can very easily and very accurately be shortlisted as our topic sentence. Now, after we've identified our topic sentence, let's see how it is best followed up. It is best followed up by the last sentence. It encompasses. Why? Because the pronoun it clearly refers back to history. History itself studies events, societies, and individuals. After this, it's time to look for the next sentence. The first sentence, starting with in summary, will not match in the third place because writers do not summarize in the middle of a paragraph. The second sentence is a perfect match because it refers back to studies. The second sentence mentions study, and so we will put this in the third slot. Now, the fourth slot will be filled up by this sentence beginning with this knowledge also helps. Why? Because there's a clear-cut precedent between knowledge in the third sentence and knowledge in the next sentence. Finally, we have the summarizing sentence. Now, let's look at all the precedents and follow-ups in this particular paragraph. Now, finally, let us see how all the precedents and follow-ups are working in this ordered paragraph. The first sentence tells us that history provides valuable insights into our past. It shapes our present and our future. The second sentence refers clearly back to history and tells us more about history, in that it encompasses the study of three things: events, societies, and individuals. The third sentence follows up on study. It tells us more about the study mentioned in the second sentence. The fourth sentence follows up on the precedent, knowledge. The fifth sentence summarizes the entire paragraph. So use what you have learned today when you solve reorder paragraph questions in PTE Reading. Remember, the first part is to look for a standalone, independent topic sentence. After that, look for precedents and look for triggers like because, though, however, in addition, furthermore. There must be a logical flow of thought. Every thought must be connected to the previous one and also the one after it. At the end of the paragraph, look for a concluding statement or a summarization. Thanks for watching today's video. We'll be back again tomorrow with the latest in the Study Unifees Daily Vid series. If you want to know more about PTE and also studying abroad, contact us at studyunifees.io. Till then, All the best.